Spotlight for us at home, our Congressmen David Valadao and Vince Fong have faced calls to vote no on the budget bill as health care programs are on the chopping block. 17's political reporter Jenny Hudd takes a deep dive inside the numbers.
The budget reconciliation process has been ongoing now for months. The final version, 900-something pages. The first version passed the House February 25th, then an amended version passed May 22nd, and it headed to the Senate, where it very narrowly passed Tuesday, 51-50. Vice President J.D. Vance casting that tie-breaking vote. 3 Republicans voted no alongside all Democratic senators. Republicans have a self-imposed deadline of the 4th of July to get it to President Donald Trump's desk. Current House 2 Congress members, both Republican. Vince Fong and David Valadao both voted for both House versions of the bill in February and in May. Now, there have been countless healthcare rallies locally and nationwide protesting the budget bill, as there are potential cuts to programs like Medicaid and Medicare, which we'll soon discuss. Voters, though, are focused on Valadao. Why? He's vulnerable, as he is in any re-election bid as a Republican in a majority Latino area that leans Democrat. But first, let's dissect the bill. It delivers on President Trump's campaign promises, making his 2017 tax cuts permanent, upping funding for border security and the military, as well as no federal income tax on tips and overtime. Trillions in tax cuts are expected. Reports and analysis show all households would see their taxes reduced, though those in the top quintiles would reap the largest cuts. $157 billion in additional funding for defense, $150 billion in additional funding for immigration enforcement, including border wall construction and detention of those arrested by immigration enforcement. So all of these cuts and some additions, how do you fund that? Cut other programs, healthcare and nutrition. This has been the point of contention for Democrats and Republicans in both chambers. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said the bill inevitably would cut about $880 billion from Medicaid. That's the House version. And in the Senate version, nearly $1 trillion. Medicaid is joint federal and state health care assistance for low-income Americans. The CBO also says almost 12 million lower-income Americans would lose their health insurance by 2034. California's version of this is Medi-Cal. Governor Gavin Newsom has said as many as 3.4 Californians could lose this coverage. Also at stake are rural hospitals and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, called CalFresh here, which provides monthly benefits for those low income. And according to the Center for American Progress, congressional districts with high levels of Medicaid enrollment, again, like Valadao's 22nd district, in which more than 67% of residents are covered, could see especially high losses of nearly $5 billion, 67,000 fewer enrollees yearly. His congressional district is one of the poorest nationwide. And this budget bill, especially the Senate version, implements stricter work requirements for some able-bodied adults. The Senate's version would require certain recipients 19 to 64, as well as parents of children 14 and older, to work, volunteer, enroll in school, or participate in job training at least 80 hours a month. It would also restrict eligibility for some immigrants and implements verification checks to ensure recipients are still alive. And due to some senators' hesitation to vote for health care cuts, the newest version includes a $25 billion relief fund for rural hospitals. This bill also lifts the cap on the federal deduction for state and local taxes that's known as SALT. The current cap is $10,000. It would be lifted to $40,000 starting this year. The SALT limit is something lawmakers in high-tax blue states like California have long considered a headache. The cap began in 2017 as part of Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act to help pay for that legislation. So we'll see whether it brings in revenue with this specific budget bill. Another big contention point, the debt ceiling. The House version is expected to add $3.3 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. The Senate version, $5 trillion. There's concern, since the point of this Republican bill was to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's turn back now to Congress members Fong and Valadao. Again, both are on the House floor considering the bill, but Valadao, he's voted for the two House versions. He's posted on social media over the weekend saying, "I've been clear from the start that I will not support a final reconciliation bill that makes harmful cuts to Medicaid, puts critical funding at risk, or threatens the stability of healthcare providers across CA 22. And that he would vote no on the Senate's harsher cuts. He, alongside other House Republicans, also wrote a letter to Senate and House Majority leaders noting the critical need to protect Medicaid and the hospitals that serve the rural communities. Now, Valadao declined our interview request today, as he has in past months, saying he won't be available until after the vote. 2026 is on the line for David Valadao. It's nothing new. He's vulnerable at the ballot box, but healthcare is his Achilles heel. The only time he's lost a re-election bid to a Democrat was in 2018 when he voted to repeal Obamacare. You'll see some of Valadao's Capitol Hill colleagues hesitant about healthcare cuts because of 2026. Most notably, Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina went against the bill, was threatened by Trump to be primaried out, then announced he wouldn't run for re-election. It makes you wonder what Valadao's future looks like, as he's caught between his constituents and his party, which has a trifecta grip of Congress and the White House. And with that self-imposed July 4th deadline, it's unlikely the House will make changes to what the Senate has passed. Jenny Hutt, 17 News.